Hi everyone, this is AJ here, and I just wanted to say something just before you hear this episode, which we recorded on the 22nd of March, so it was a while ago, with G and myself and Randy from the Dynasty Warzone. It's been a bit of a difficult month for me. My dad, unfortunately, about 7 or 8 weeks ago now, had received a diagnosis of myeloma, cancer. And while he was fighting that, then things progressively, really rapidly got worse. He went into hospital and about 2 weeks ago passed away. And the period leading up to that and also after his passing and leading up to the funeral has been really, really tough. And so this episode's been sitting in my in tray, as you can imagine, and I just wanted to pump it out there. And just to let you know that, G and I are still on the case. In fact, G, I feel bad for G because he's been watching tons. Man, he's got so many bits of paper. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. So many bits of paper on rookies. We're going to sit down over the next couple of days and try and just give you some of our thoughts on that before the draft breaks. But just wanted to let you know that things have been a pretty, average. But, we're getting back on deck, and we do appreciate all of you who listen, and so I wanted to put this personal note at the front and just let you know what's been going on. But you'll hear a lot of things in this episode that are kind of out of date, but I've just kind of left it as is, and I wanted to put it out to you. Don't want to just sort of leave it there and not actually publish it. So thanks for all your positive thoughts, and here it is. Hello and welcome, we're the guys. I'm AJ. Here with me is G. How are you, G?
Good.
You sure?
No.
You're 3 bottles of champagne in.
Yes.
Yes, so this could be interesting.
Yes.
And we haven't actually done one of these for a couple of weeks. No.
Keep my it's going to be short, sweet.
I don't know if it will be. I think it's going to be long. So anyway, and we do have a special guest on the line. We've got Randy from the Dynasty Warzone.
It's Friday night.
The honorary Australian. Randy, how are you?
Hey guys, how are you? I'm doing okay. Just listening to G. Man, I'm ready for this one. G is feeling it.
He is.
I'm good.
He's good. He's good. He's taking a deep breath. He's
Let's
just
go.
polished off a 500. Was that half a litre? Half a litre Reese's peanut butter chocolate ice cream?
Not as good as I thought it was going to be.
You know what? They put too much chocolate in those I reckon.
Well, I don't know. The mix is good.
It is?
Just scrape out the bottom, the bottom bit. I'm trying to be serious, sorry.
Yeah, okay. The mix is good, but...
It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's trying to like, you got chocolate and peanut butter in one.
Yes.
And you're trying to get like a 50-50 sort of split.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you try and do that,
Yep.
is that you sort of...
You knock off the peanut butter.
You're not getting peanut butter, you're not getting chocolate.
No.
You're sort of getting either. So I figured that if you want to eat peanut butter ice cream, go and get peanut butter ice cream.
Correct.
If you want chocolate, go and get chocolate.
Right.
Don't try and get a 50-50.
No.
Do I make sense?
Yeah. I'm in that camp as well. I agree 100%.
And I wanted to say first,
Yeah.
we got Memphis on the line. Screw the Memphis.
What do you mean screw the Memphis?
Mate, he's DFF Memphis, Melbourne.
DFF Melbourne.
Don't worry about them.
I've got to go out and get that Twitter handle real quick before someone squats on that.
DFF Melbourne.
Mate, you're a Melbourne guy through and through now.
Honorary Australian.
Mate, not even honorary. He's Australian.
Yeah, that's right. So it is obviously, it's good fun when G said that he had teed you up, I was like, yes. And it's always...
Mate, you got a lot of fans out here. We get a lot of good feedback when you're on the line.
I appreciate that. When you use the advanced analytics on Podbean, which is the hosting platform we use for our site, you get to see what countries download the most of your show outside of the United States, because that's where we're based, obviously. And Australia is our number one international market still. Canada, we're sneaking up on you for a while, but Australia, still number one international audience of the Dynasty Warzone. So definitely have a lot of love for the Australian folks.
Woohoo!
Are we like R-rated still?
Yes.
Screw the bloody Canada.
Well, how's that R-rated?
Well, I was going to use the F-bomb, but I'll leave that till later.
Well, you can, but,
There's a few players on here I want to use the F-bomb for, so...
Well, you might.
We'll wait.
So, listen, we're going to do a bit of a... I called it a sleeper cast, but that's kind of boring. But, like, the three... Originally, when you tweeted it out to us, G, you said, like the whole scuba analogy, snorkel, scuba...
I've got...
You got something better
concept on that.
Okay.
Yeah. We have literally ripped this out of somebody else.
Okay.
Is it the football guys?
They do the scuba.
They do the scuba, and mate, that's great, mate. That's just, I think that's pretty much where we got the idea from.
Oh yeah,
and
the deep
Sigmund Bloom
and
Cecil Lammy and Matt Warman, that they all do that, and that's great. It's a great concept.
Yes.
I don't know if they came up with the original idea, but if
Who
they
knows?
did, mate, well done to you guys. So we'll sort of rip that out. But I've sort of come a little bit... I don't want to do the scuba and all that. So what I've based mine on tonight, and probably appropriate for the fact that I've been shared... Yeah, I have been drinking, and 3 bottles of champagne in, is the fact that we'll do ours based on, if you went out and you went to the pub or club or wherever you're going, and we have stage 1, 2 and 3, and when we get to those stages, I will mention what those stages are and the concept behind those.
Okay. So are we going to do it by position or by stage?
We'll do it by stage, and within each stage is each position. So we have quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end.
Awesome. Well, let's go to the pub, I suppose. You tell me. Where are we going?
Look, stage 1 is... Mate, look, the way I look at it is stage 1 is sort of like you've rocked into a club, pub, wherever you may be. You're on a night out with the boys, and you've had a couple of drinks. And look, mate, you're at the start of the night, whatever time, I don't know what, mate, I have no idea. I should know because my daughter's almost 19, and what times of the night start these days? Mate,
for us,
midnight,
6 p.m. For them, 11,
midnight.
Yeah.
So you've rocked up to wherever you are, and the talent pool is rich.
Yes.
So that's stage 1.
Okay.
The talent pool is top shelf. It's all there. The best of the best. Smorgasbord, however you want to put it. Male, female, we're not being gender specific or sexist or anything like that, are we? We don't want to be...
No.
Live your best life. You do you.
Exactly right.
Awesome.
So stage 1 is just that.
Okay. Well, I kind of did it like snorkels. So, I don't know if that's the best of the best. It's sort of like just under the surface. It's the best talent's kind of left the room already.
No, the talent's still there. Well, the talent that's available.
Oh, available talent. Okay, all right.
I'm not saying it's the
available
best,
talent,
but the best available talent is
best available talent,
whatever venue you may be.
Okay, that sounds good. We're at the beginning of the night, so there's a fair bit on offer.
There's a lot on offer.
Well, my guy G. Will bring a real frown, will bring little lines and creases across your brow. I'm going to put in Marcus Mariota.
Oh, really?
Yes.
In stage 1?
Stage 1.
The talent pool is still rich.
We're assuming that...
He's a starting QB.
Yeah, he's a starting QB, I know, but he's borderline. That's why I put him in, right? Because to say he's... career's at a crossroads is an understatement. 4 years in, former Heisman Trophy winner. He hasn't impressed, but he hasn't totally sucked, but he's been a bit mediocre, to be fair, right? He's in the final year of his rookie deal. He's due to make $21 million this year. He's had trouble staying healthy. while he's had some flashy games, they've been few and far between. But keep in mind the following things. This is what I wrote down. He's had 3 head coaches in 4 seasons. So Ken Wisenhunt was the guy in 2015 when he was drafted. Wisenhunt was let go after a 1-6 start and replaced by Mike Malarkey. Mariota actually had his best season under Malarkey and won a playoff game. The Titans let Malarkey go following 2017 and hired Mike Vrabel. And he's also on his second offensive coordinator after Matt LaFleur left Tennessee after 1 season to take a job in Green Bay. So there's been quite a bit of upheaval, right? And that we know that that's never good for a young quarterback.
Is there any reason that the Patriots are as good as they are? Is continuity got anything to do with it?
Oh, a little.
Just a little?
Just a tiny bit.
Just a tad.
Also, wide receivers not been a strong position for the Titans. They do, however, they had some missteps with players like Dorial Green Beckham. Sorry to bring him up, G. We need another bottle of champagne.
Talent out the wazoo, but just... I think I spoke about when we had Matt Waldman on about his background.
Yeah.
And maybe he couldn't overcome his upbringing.
Yes.
I suppose.
Maybe.
Talent out the wazoo.
Now, however, he does have Corey Davis, the 5th overall pick from 2017, who led Titans wide receivers 891 yards last year and appears to be on track to taking the next step, being a legit wide receiver 1. And obviously Mariota had that injury last year that he played through with the elbow, but he's well on the way to being fully healthy. So I put him in. I mean, I know, G, you think he might be Buster-Rama. I kind of think...
Well, I did speak about this on a guest of this podcast tonight about when he had me on and gave me 2 big predictions. I pretty much said that I think Mariota's a bit of a bust.
I think he can come through this year.
Okay. Do you remember that, Randers?
I do, and I'm on the fence with this kid. You can see it. Here's my only problem that I see with Mariota is he seems to lack confidence. That's my opinion, but he definitely lacks toughness, and that's a fact. I mean, this guy might as well be made out of old chandelier parts. I mean, he's always favored an arm, a something, and they brought in Ryan Tannehill. And this is a team that, if I remember correctly from last year, Tennessee had the number 1 scoring defense, which means they allowed the fewest points in the NFL last year. This is a team that wants to pound the ball with Derrick Henry and play defense. And if Ryan Tannehill, the newly acquired Ryan Tannehill, comes in there and stays healthy, I would not be surprised if Tannehill beat him out. But I will definitely say Marcus Mariota is the more talented player. Can he stay healthy? Can he, keep himself in the game? But the talent, 100%.
Yeah.
The problem I have with Mariota is he's very robotic.
He is.
Tannehill's not, but then again, he's a wide receiver that's switched to being a quarterback.
True.
And I think it's a good move. Like, mate, it's not a bad backup.
No, true.
It's not like, again, a backup that's played like 4 games.
It's a great backup.
Started 4 games.
Yeah. Fantastic. Best backup in the league. Yeah.
All right, so quarterbacks that I've got a couple.
Have you?
Yeah.
You better not take mine.
The night's young. You've had a couple of beers. There's a bit of talent walking around the room.
Yep.
So, look.
Don't say Nick Foles.
I don't have Nick Foles.
Good.
Mate, he's a starting quarterback. Why am I going to put Nick Foles in here? I don't have it.
You don't have any starting quarterback?
Let me have a look. No.
Good.
I don't have a starting quarterback. Okay, so I've got Tyrod Taylor at the Chargers.
Oh, okay.
Nice backup.
Yeah.
Just a tad different from the way that Rivers plays the game from inside the pocket.
Experience, though.
Oh, mate, you put him in, you give him the ball, plenty of starts.
Yes.
Mate, at like stage 1, fantastic. Taylor Rashard. Jacoby Brissett's another one at the Colts.
Yes, agreed.
There's a lot of talk that I've read and heard over the last couple of weeks, the fact that there's a lot of teams out there that really like what he's done and what he did with the Colts last year.
Yeah.
Or, no, not last year.
Not last year.
The year before with
2017.
With Andrew Luck being out.
Correct.
Now, Nate Sudfeld at the Eagles. Really highly thought of at the Eagles. And let's face the fact that they have a quarterback that hasn't really been that healthy of late.
Yep.
Nick Mullins is another one at the 49ers. Mate, if you're going to talk about quarterbacks that can't stay healthy, Jimmy G pretty much showed that fact when he was given the starting job at the Patriots and couldn't stay healthy, and then given the same opportunity at the 49ers and decided that instead of taking one step to the left, I'm going to bury my shoulder into the oncoming. Can't remember who the player was, the linebacker.
Can't recall.
And then that was the end of the season for him.
Yep.
Like, mate, seriously, it was one step to the left and out of bounds.
Yeah, it was terrible. Terrible decision. Yeah.
So Nick Mullins, look, mate, he showed that. I think he was probably helped by a certain tight end that made, that
maybe.
helped.
Yes.
Certainly helped me.
Yes.
In a lot of leagues. Ryan Tannehill at the Titans, another quarterback, Mariota in front of him that can't stay healthy. And as I said on Memphis' show here, that I think he's a bit of a bust. Whether or not he's the franchise quarterback at the Titans.
Listen, don't mention them all because we won't have any to put in the lower levels.
No, well, it probably, yeah, it does get a little bit sketchy as we get to the bottom. And another one I've got, the last one I have is RG3. Okay. Only from the simple fact that there's only two quarterbacks actually on the roster at the moment.
Yep.
And he's the second of those two quarterbacks. And that's the only reason I have him on there. And do we really know what RG3 is? Very similar quarterbacks they have on the roster at the moment. Would you agree, Randers?
I thought the RG3 re-signing was great. First of all, Lamar Jackson, who I like, posted a picture on social media of him driving 120 miles an hour. So he's driving the car 120 miles an hour with taking a video with his phone, not highly advised. And if you look at the video, which is no longer there, the seatbelt light was on. So that does not reek of good decision making. So, I mean, he's the kind of guy who might not take a slide. RG3 is a guy who could see some action in 2019. And the one thing I think RG3 got humbled by life and by the NFL.
Yes.
And Lamar Jackson could very well go down that same road. So not only can RG3 be a good backup for the Baltimore Ravens organization, if he's able to share those experiences with Lamar and help him develop and grow as both a quarterback and a person, this could be the best backup signing since Josh McCown last year for Sam Darnold and the New York Jets.
Right.
Do you think it's one of those things that RG3 has actually lived this at the moment and Lamar Jackson hasn't?
I think so. I think some of these veteran backup quarterbacks become coaches on the field, and I think that's what a lot of NFL teams drafting young quarterbacks. Like, again, I'll go back to the Jets situation last year. I think Josh McCown's 48 years old. Well, I don't think he's really that old, but he's an older gentleman. And Sam Darnold will not be 22 until this coming June. So a very young man, with a backup who's a very experienced man, not only in football. I mean, take it beyond the football field. Take about it in life. This is a 21-year-old kid. I don't know how old Lamar is, probably about the same, in a big city like Baltimore and like New York. And you've got this guy that's been around a little bit who can say, hey, not only take care of your money, but hey, these are good work habits. These are good study habits. This is what to do to be ready. And it's just you hope your backup quarterback never sees the field, but their value comes off the field, in my opinion.
Did you say that Darnold's going to be 22 this year, or is he 22 now?
He's 21 as we speak. He will not be 22 until June. He was the youngest quarterback in the league last year.
Was he like some seriously smart guy? Like, you have to, what is it? What's the requirement? Is it 3 years in the college system?
Yeah, he had barely turned 18 before he went to his first college.
Yeah.
So I
didn't even realise that he was that young. I honestly didn't.
All right, listen, I was just going to say, I'm going to keep moving along because we've got a lot of players to discuss. And, where are you going, G? Toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a surprise. And look, in truth, we might end up splitting this into 2 episodes even.
No, we'll be right.
We'll be right. We'll be right, he says. Okay, that's fine.
That's fine with me. I do want to throw out a couple of names for you real quick at quarterback, and I'll go quick.
Okay, go.
Josh Rosen.
Yes.
He was a guy who was playing behind a bad offensive line with a defensive-minded head coach, with an offensive coordinator in Mike McCoy that was running an antiquated offense, didn't have very good weapons. And this is a guy that's probably going to be on a new team, so definitely like Josh Rosen. And then Jeff Driscoll, the backup in Cincinnati, came on last year, didn't play terrible in his 6 starts. He had 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, didn't throw for a bunch of yards, but for a young guy. So there's a couple of names, just Jeff Driscoll and Josh Rosen.
Okay, nice. All right, let's go to running back. So, Randers, you hit us with a running back. Or do you want me to? And it gives you some time to have a think.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, no worries. Okay, so, I'm going to go with... Are you happy for me to...
Them far away.
Okay, no worries. Duke Johnson.
Sorry, I didn't get to wash my hands.
That's all right.
Mate, you got stuff in your sink over there.
I know.
I can't wash my hands.
Stuff
But then again,
stacked
it's probably cleaner than your door handle.
Oh, don't know about that. Okay. Duke Johnson. Speaking of Johnsons, Duke Johnson, running back in Cleveland, obviously. Now, Cleveland in this off-season signed Kareem Hunt, so now they've got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the building. We now know that Kareem Hunt's going to be back on deck after 8 games. It's almost like an injury. Really? You can treat it like that. Now, Duke Johnson's a talented back. He hasn't really been used well in Cleveland. He may get some work in the first 8 games if Cleveland decides to keep him.
That's about it.
That's about it. He's still only 25 years old. He's entering his 5th season. And third down backs like Duke are quite a commodity in the NFL. They're handy. They're pretty handy. And he is a handy player. He's... from 2015 to 2017, he's averaged 942 yards from scrimmage per season. But this past season saw he really dip in usage. Career lows in carries, targets, and touches. He finished with a career low 630 yards from scrimmage. But I like the talent of the guy. I think that it might all happen at a different team. And for that reason, I put him in here because he's cheap to get and a young guy still.
Is that the fact that, Nick Chubb did what Nick Chubb did?
True, yes.
And the fact that you have Baker Mayfield who doesn't mind backing himself.
True.
And he does back himself.
Yep.
So when you get down those third down situations, I don't know what the stats are because I didn't know what you were going to talk about,
no.
AJ, obviously. Communication would probably be a good thing between you and I.
What?
But is it the fact that the type of personality that Baker Mayfield is that he'll back himself before he hands the ball?
Yeah.
I'll throw the ball.
He's the third down back.
Mate, that's exactly right. I am the third down back.
Right.
I'll trust my arm and what I'll do, scrambling or from the pocket.
Yep.
I'll give that a shot over it, hand it off to anybody any day.
Yep.
Okay.
No, I like the guy. I would be actively trying to pick him up. He's a buy low. You watch him go somewhere else and
a lot of pressure.
Light it up.
A lot of pressure.
What do you mean?
Just a little, mate. Just with what he has been given.
Yep.
In Cleveland now, there is a lot of pressure on him.
Who, Mayfield?
Yes, Mayfield.
Yes.
That's who we're talking about, isn't it?
I'm talking about Duke Johnson, but anyway.
No, but we'd moved on to Baker Mayfield.
Have we
not?
Okay. Yeah.
There is a lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield now to live up to what he showed us last year. Not just in what he did on the field and surpassed touchdown that he threw, but also on the personality he showed us.
Yeah.
And the personality of the person that he is.
Yes.
You have been given everything.
Well, and look, the hype train is out of control, and it's probably, there's some reason, I know, there's some reason.
Oh, mate, you're Cleveland. Where have you been since Cleveland left and went to Baltimore and came back to Cleveland?
Yeah,
where
it's
have
been
you
a wasteland. Yeah, I know. Well, Baker wasn't born then, probably.
No, but what I'm saying is now you have this. Yeah. Not only do you have this quarterback, you now have this wide receiver.
Yes.
You now have this running back.
Yes.
You now have David Njoku, this tight end, this up-and-coming tight end. Now, whether or not he lives up to what we think he might be.
Oh, probably now.
You have a defense that is getting better every year.
Yeah. Well, let's not go too far down the Baker Mayfield Cleveland track. But anyway, Duke Johnson. Now, Randy, do you want to offer up a running back?
I certainly do, and it's Jalen Richard from the Oakland Raiders.
Nice.
I think he might be the player in the NFL who quietly had 68 receptions last year that no one's talking about.
Yeah.
He is an absolute steal. And Oakland, they did not bring back Marshawn Lynch. They did not bring back Doug Baldwin. Their current running backs under contract on the roster are Jalen Richard, Dwayne Washington, and sleeper and favorite of mine, Chris Warren III.
Randers.
Chris Warren III was a guy who was mauling people, and I'll let G talk about him, it sounds like, in a second. But he was mauling people last preseason. But Richard is the Duke Johnson West Coast edition. Doesn't get a lot of respect, but this guy, like I said, he had 68 receptions for 607 yards. Now, he only had 259 yards rushing, but that's clearly not his thing. But a guy that right now, I think, as an RB 3 or 4 in your dynasty league, or if you're a redraft player and you're looking to write names down, write that name down as like a guy you can get real late in drafts next year, and can certainly help both the Raiders and your fantasy and dynasty teams.
I have Chris Johnson down here. Chris Warren as like my number one at the Raiders. Like, just what he showed in preseason Randers last year before he went down with the knee injury was just like, mate, this guy is gonna pop.
I feel like he's a bit deeper than just where we're at the moment, don't you?
Deeper.
Yeah, I feel like he was like
a deeper dive.
Like he's
really?
He's got that. But but he's a name that if Oakland does not go day 1 or day 2 draft pick in the NFL draft this year, if they end up picking up someone in like the 4th through 7th round or an undrafted free agent, Chris Warren's stock in Dynasty will shoot to the moon.
Yeah, it will. Quite right. G.
I've got I just showed you.
Don't mention them all. Just pick like your best.
Just don't mention them all. Can I I'll just go through the names and just...
Because you might be taking ours. That's
okay. Mention yours before I mention mine, and that'll cross some off the list. Randers already done one with Chris Warren.
Okay, all right.
I'll go last.
But you could mention my deeper ones, that's all.
Well, that's fine that you see people differently than how I see people.
All right.
That's fine. Look, I've got Justin Jackson of the Chargers.
Nice.
Showed a bit last year, mate. Look, but the only problem with him is that when you go back and look at his numbers, you need the receptions part of his game. Take that out of his game, and mate, seriously, you're not worth starting him.
Right.
I had Chris Warren at the top of my list as Randers just stole my thunder. But that's great because Randers is, mate, he's a mate and
a guest.
He's a guest, and you can do whatever you want when you're a guest. I have Wayne Gorman at the Giants, mate. He's the only guy behind Saquon Barkley. Latavius Murray at the Saints now. Look,
it's not Mark Ingram.
He's not Mark Ingram, but mate, I am a bit of a fan of Latavius Murray.
Yeah, he's not bad,
mate. Okay, he's got that sort of. I really think that people have a problem with Latavius Murray in the fact that he has that sort of upright running style.
Yeah.
Like
McFadden.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the only problem people have with McFadden is the fact that he ran upright. Like who, mate, so you don't bury your shoulders down to like 2 feet off the ground when you run through contact.
Right.
Does that make you any worse of someone who can run through contact? Does it make you any weaker or feeble or?
He does all right,
mate. He does great, mate. The dude's got some speed. The dude's got some power.
Yeah.
He pretty much, last year when Dalvin Cook was out, he pretty much carried the running game in Minnesota, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay. So I really like him at the Saints. He's another one. John Kelly at the Rams, I have no idea. They have a better idea of why they didn't use him. They brought in C.J. Anderson into run the ball, and C.J. he did a great job.
He did.
Yeah, he was fantastic. They haven't re-signed C.J. Anderson. Todd Gurley had the arthritic knee.
Yes.
So, look, this is totally different, but I have an arthritic shoulder that I had operated on,
Not that long ago.
4 months ago.
Yeah.
And let me tell you now that, look, is it as bad as it was before we had the operation? No. But does it still give me trouble? Yes. When I go to the gym, because I'm a bit of a gym junkie, does it hurt when I work out more? Hell yes. Do I notice it because I have to use it for my job? Yes. And this is a guy that has to use his knee every day.
Right.
More than I have to use my shoulder. So, be that what it may and take that what it is and, mate, for what they have and the medical stuff that they have that I don't have. But still, arthritis is arthritis. There is no cure, as we know at the moment. The other one I have is Malcolm Brown at the Lions. Underrated guy. Kerryon Johnson can't stay healthy. Didn't stay healthy at the Lions in his first year. Wasn't healthy as a running back in college. Had hamstring issues. Like I said, there was already missed games in Detroit. Another guy I have is Dennis Dixon at the Ravens. If he can stay healthy, he's a far better back than Gus Edwards, who's number 2 on the death charts in the moment.
Hell yes, yeah.
Elijah McGuire at the Jets, who's the only guy behind Le'Veon Bell.
Yep.
In New York. Jalen Samuels at the Steelers. Excellent pass catcher. Probably would be used a lot more in 2019 as he used last year, now that we saw what he can do.
Yep.
Alongside Connor. And the last and not least, and I've left this because we have Randers on today, and he can probably talk about this, is Jordan Wilkins at the Colts. And look, there's a reason that the guy is not just a guy. When you play against SEC, the top SEC teams, and you run for over 100 yards and burn them all, every one of them that he played against, he burned them all for 100 yards plus. Mate, you don't do that because you're just a running back. Randers, I'll let you take it away from here.
Jordan Wilkins, now, I do believe that Marlon Mack is firmly entrenched as the starter in Indy. I mean, he avoided free agency. I mean, no Tevin Coleman, no Lev Bell, no Mark Ingram came to Indianapolis. So it's just him, Wilkins, and Naheem Hines. And Naheem Hines is nowhere near an every down back. He's more of that Duke Johnson type that AJ mentioned earlier. But Jordan Wilkins, I mean, Marlon Mack has had an issue of hamstring issues himself. Missed several games last year because of them. And Jordan Wilkins has flashed as capable. He'll be going into year 2. Much like what I mentioned earlier, he's another guy, and all the Colts running backs need to dodge the draft. If you can get past day 1 and day 2 draft capital backs, then I think Marlon Mack's your guy. But yeah, I if you can stash Jordan Wilkins on the back end of your roster, I love it. And then you mentioned Kenneth Dixon, who I know both AJ and I are a fan of because I traded AJ. AJ is the only person I've traded a Kenneth Dixon share to, so I'm still a fan.
Yeah.
He is nowhere near a sliver as talented or as productive as Alvin Kamara, but Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara worked real well together in New Orleans, and I think that Harbaugh and the coaching staff could find a way to get both Ingram and Dixon some meaningful touches in 2019. So I like that call as well.
Awesome.
Like, we have to take into consideration that we're looking at these guys and the fact that there's a whole new crop.
Oh, yeah.
Of wide receivers, quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks. Wide receiver, like the wide receiver depth pool is deep, but not top end heavy.
Yes.
Running backs. Look, I have to admit that I've only just started looking at the running backs now, so I'm not going to comment on the running backs yet. But there's always a new crop of guys coming into the NFL that can pretty much make these guys that we're going to talk about obsolete.
Correct.
Are they going to make them obsolete at the beginning? Well, maybe not, because we don't know what this new crop's going to be.
Yep.
We think teams will draft them thinking they're going to be something, but from a fantasy point of view, we don't know exactly what they're going to be until they hit the NFL. So these guys that we're talking about now, by the half year mark this year, might be like pretty much out.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's go to wide receiver. Randy, are you ready to do one, or you want me to do it?
No, let's rock. I want to talk about one of my favorite wide receivers. That's Robbie Anderson of the New York Jets. They did bring in some help around him, and anyone competing for targets, I guess, couldn't be considered help. But when you bring in Lev Bell, when you bring in Jamison Crowder, you already had Chris Herndon. They re-signed Quincy Enunwa. Robbie Anderson's going to be able to be that deep threat. Now, is he going to be a target hog in the vein of a classic wide receiver one like DeAndre Hopkins? No, he's not. But is he the kind of guy that could be your wide receiver, 3 that could have wide receiver 1 weeks? Yep, you betcha he sure is. So he's a low floor, high ceiling type, but he had 50 receptions and 750 yards and 6 TDs, and really came on strong down the last 4 games of the season as his chemistry finally developed with young Sam Darnold. So someone that I'm scooping up in a lot of places is Robbie Anderson.
Very nice. Dante Moncrief.
Okay, cross him off.
I like this one. I like where you're going, AJ.
Yeah, now, I'm a fan of... Have you got him on there?
He's my number 2.
I'm a fan of Moncrief. I always have been. Now, he'll turn 26 before the start of the season. He's going to be playing for his 3rd club. And obviously, Randy, you're very familiar with him as an ex-Colt.
Club. Now, is club a term that you use in the States?
Yeah, I mean, it's used in all sports. And I mean, I've heard it. I mean, I know it's really like a soccer thing, like a soccer club. But yeah, I've heard that with not only NFL football, but Major League Baseball here in the States as well.
Okay. I didn't actually think of it
clubhouse
when I wrote it. But he had his best season in 2015 where he had 64 catches for 730 yards and 6 touchdowns, and that was an average of 11.5 yards per reception. But then Luck was sidelined for all of 2017, as we know. And then Moncrief left for the Jags in 2018, and he had Blake Bortles throw him the ball. What a disaster that was. So that was no indication, right? And now he goes to Pittsburgh, and AB has left the building. Together with Lev Bell, but to a lesser extent, that doesn't really matter. And Jesse James, I just threw that in there. It doesn't really matter. But I wanted to have a look at the snaps, though, because I thought this would be interesting, right? The total snaps in 2018 for all the wide receivers in Pittsburgh across their 16 regular season games, 3,095 snaps, right? Juju and AB had basically 1,000 each.
Percentage-wise?
No, snaps.
No, percentage. What's that
Okay, percentage. Juju was playing 86% of the snaps on average. Juju can get AB's snap percentage. Now, AB was getting around 96% of snaps. So if you say that Juju is going to go up a tiny bit, there's not a whole lot of room there, right? Because he was already at 86%. There's still almost 1,000 snaps unaccounted for. So then you might say to me, well, James Washington will get a bump, right? Well, maybe he will. He played 526 snaps, an average of about 50% he was on. So he'll likely increase. But you know what bothers me about that assumption is that you're assuming that a second-year guy in Washington is going to get the number 2 gig over the more experienced Dante Moncrief. Even with 50% of the snaps, Washington only had 16 receptions for 217 yards. But mind you, of course, all the targets are going to Juju and AB. But it's not like Washington had like a good, by any stretch, a good year. So it feels like he's got a long way to go in his development. So I think Moncrief is going to walk in potentially as the number 2 wide receiver in a passing offense that's also missing, as I said, Jesse James, for example. But not that really is a big factor. But anyway, Randers.
We have Vance McDonald still there.
What do you think of... Yeah, I know Vance McDonald's there. What do you think of Dante Moncrief?
I like it, and I always value the opinion of others as well as my own. I by no means think I have this thing figured out or whooped. And there's a gentleman named Matt Williamson, and he hosts the Dynasty Blueprint podcast with Ryan McDowell. It's one of the OG Dynasty podcasts in the realm, and he's very patched into the Steelers. I think he works in their media department or local radio or something. He's very patched into Pittsburgh. And the other day, he said that he loved the Moncrief move, because initially I was just kind of meh on it. But when a guy who's as patched in to the organization as Matt is, and a guy that is a local guy, that keeps my eyebrow raised. So I was definitely excited when you said the name Moncrief, because up until I heard him say that, I really wasn't, but now I am.
Nice.
And you got to look at the fact that with Washington, like the Steelers do have a knack of grabbing wide receivers.
They do. True.
Like, it's strange how some teams do quarterbacks, some teams do running backs, some teams do tight ends. The Steelers are known for, like, if there's a wide receiver there, mate, as far as dynasty goes or fantasy, let's snap him up.
They could pick a wide receiver with a paper bag over their head.
Mate, a wet paper bag.
Yes.
But look, as far as expecting a second-year guy to come out and all of a sudden make that leap,
yeah,
mate, I agree with you. Moncrief is a great pick. Now, I'll give you a couple from my side. Look, I've got Antonio Callaway there, but that's a bit of an obvious one at the Browns. But then again, he's probably lost a bit of value. But if you think of the fact that the position that he plays and the speed that he has, you have underneath, you could have
Landry.
Who else? The new addition, Odell Beckham.
Underneath? No, not underneath.
No, but I'm saying that he does that sort of that slant sort of catch and go sort of type route. He doesn't have the speed of Callaway has.
No.
And then you have a tight end in
Njoku.
Thank you. All sort of work in the same sort, not the work in the same
field,
not the same part of the field, but the same sort of like area.
Yes,
like 20. And then you have someone like Callaway that just
burner.
Yep, mate. We're worried about one. We're worried about Landry. 2, we're worried about Beckham.
Yeah.
3, we're worried about Njoku.
Maybe we're worried about Kareem Hunt.
Back in week 9 or whatever he comes in, and we're worried about Nick Chubb.
Right.
Mate, who's left like, see you later, bye, I'm on my own one-on-one coverage that I'll burn?
None on one.
Yeah, none on one. Antonio Callaway. The second one I have down here is, look, this all depends on the Tyreek Hill and the situation that he's going through and what goes on with that, is DeMarcus Robinson of the Chiefs.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Now, this is a guy that I hear in his college days, he played pretty much maybe 52%, 48% on each side of the field. So he's not like he doesn't line up on the left side. Most of the time, he doesn't line on the right side. Most of the time, he plays 50-50 most sides. He can play on both sides of the field. He's a very good route runner. He has an excellent set of hands. He had 2.7% of drops in the whole time he was in college, which is incredible. Like 2.7% of all the times he was targeted. Mate, that's like dropping a ball, I don't know, once every what? 50? I have no idea. Just putting it out there.
2 times every 100.
At the Gators.
Literally.
Mate, I have him on a lot of fantasy teams. That means absolute jack shit that I have him on teams. But, mate, this is a guy that if Tyreek Hill happens, to miss games, this is a guy that can be very important to the Chiefs. Next, I have is Jerome Allison, who's re-signed for a 1-year deal on the Packers. My God, who else did he have to throw the ball to?
Well, there's a whole lot of young guys, really.
And seriously, do you like
MVS? I'm not really that hot.
I wasn't a fan on any of these guys that were signed.
ESB.
Equinemius St. Brown is about, I can say that actually okay, even after having a couple of champagnes. But, mate, I wasn't a massive fan of his coming out. So he signed. Look, last year, Allison was on pace to have 76, 1,156 yards and 8 TDs.
Yes.
But he suffered the concussion. Then he went on to have a hamstring. And then in the end, his year was cut short by the fact that he had a core muscle injury.
Yep.
Comes back this year, given the 1-year prove-it deal. And another thing I like is the fact that before 2018 is when they sat down, they talked to Aaron Rodgers, and he had to go at all the other receivers talking about they weren't doing the job properly. They weren't being where the one person he picked out was
Geronimo Allison.
Thank you very much, AJ. He was there where he's meant to be.
Yes.
And that's a really big thing for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
And the last guy on my list, I'm going to hand it back to Randers because this is a guy on Randers' team, and that is Dion Kane. I know he's a big fan at the Colts. Take it away, Randers.
Oh, well, he was on my list, so I am prepared. Dion Kane, you did not get to see a lot of him last year because he tore his ACL in training camp, but as a guy who watched highlights and coverage every day of Colts camp, being a local guy here in Indianapolis, this guy was destroying people. And I know a lot of people have good camps, but this was a rookie coming in. He looked fitted to be the number 2 wide receiver for the Colts before he got injured. And I'll tell you a little side story. So I follow the Colts on Instagram, and they're doing like this multi-part series about his rehab and recovery. And that's not something that you do for your average 6-round pick. So that tells me that the Colts like him. They're invested in him. That's an interesting one. And going back to his college days, in his sophomore season at Clemson with Deshaun Watson at the quarterback, this is a guy who averaged 19 yards a catch and 1 out of every 4 catches basically was a touchdown. He had nine TDs that year with Deshaun Watson. His stats dipped a little bit his junior year because Watson was gone. But with Andrew Luck and this kid coming back from ACL, now he'll get off to a slow start. Players coming off ACLs typically do. Think back 2 years ago when Keenan Allen came back from his and he had a slow season and then set the world on fire the back half of 2017. And then Dalvin Cook last year came back slow, some hamstring injuries, which is common with an ACL. And then Dalvin Cook looked really good down the stretch. But, gee, you hit a home run with Deion Kane, one of my absolute favorites.
But and what you're saying about he averaged 19 yards per catch with Watson is the fact that Randers, he's either burning corners on the line or he's strong enough to go up and get the catch with 19 yards, like in the end zone.
He's a big contested catch guy. He is a guy he's 6'2". If you look at his player, easy for me to say, player profiler card, this is a guy who has got elite speed, a very good catch radius. His burst is not the best, but I'm stunned that he went in the 6th round. But and I'm not comparing him to Antonio Brown, so slow your roll. But this is Antonio Brown went in the 6th round too. There are gems you can find late in drafts that slip through the cracks sometimes, and I see that kind of potential. It's just potential. He may never live up to it, but I like the kid a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Now, did you have any others you wanted to mention, Randy?
I'll throw 3 real quick. The combination of D.D. Westbrook and Keelan Cole in Jacksonville. We don't know who Nick Foles is going to love yet down there. So this is something to watch in training camp, especially for the redraft player. Look for that chemistry in preseason games 1, 2, and 3. Who does it look like Foles is favoring? That's a guy maybe to look at in your redraft league. And then I'll throw out the name Robert Foster real quick. Kind of popped on the scene late down up in Buffalo. He had 4 games last year from week 10 on with 94 more yards. And over the last 4 games, he had at least 4 receptions. So you could see a little chemistry. Now, Buffalo did bring in John Brown. They did bring in Cole Beasley. But and then they brought in Tyler Kroft at the tight end position. But I think Robert Foster will still get his shot. He's a very, very young guy. And he was a highly rated recruit coming out of high school. So he's certainly talented. We just got to, again, see how this receiving core in Buffalo shakes out.
Very cool.
I love the Robert Foster pick. Mate, I can't believe I don't have him down here.
Yeah. Let's go to tight end. This will probably be quite quick.
It would be quick for me.
You better not mention all the ones that we've got on the list. Now,
I've got one.
All right, good. Randy, do you want me to go first, or you got a tight end?
I'll start with Dallas Goedert, 2nd round pick of the Eagles last year. He flashed a couple of times. And, I mean, but the one thing I'll say is really not so much for 2019, but 2020.
Yeah.
The Eagles are a team that is in salary cap hell. We're going into I believe this is year 4 of Carson Wentz, year 3, year 4. At any rate, at some point they're going to have to pay this young man a large amount of money. And I will tell you that in 2020, Zach Ertz is due to make $12 million, which is a lot of money for a tight end, and his dead cap $6 million. I'm not saying they would take a $6 million dead cap hit, but if they really believe in Goddard in a year or two, maybe Zach Ertz becomes a trade candidate, and you're like, they would never trade Zach Ertz. Really? Did you ever think the New York Giants would trade Odell Beckham Jr.? This is the new NFL. Anything's possible, and when you have to free up cap space, and the Eagles are a team that does like their draft picks. I'm just saying. So Dallas Goedert is someone that I think you'll see a lot this year in 2 tight end sets where both him and Ertz could line up in the slot with Alshon and Deshaun Jackson outside. And as much as we gave Baker's weapons a lot of love there in Cleveland, and deservedly so, I think we're sleeping on the Eagles' weapons. I mean, they've got Alshon Jeffrey, former Pro Bowler, Deshaun Jackson, former Pro Bowler, Zach Ertz, Pro Bowler, and then you mix in guys like Dallas Goedert and Nelson Aguilar. If this team adds a good running back in the draft, that's a pretty damn good offense. So I will definitely say Dallas Goedert is a young name to keep an eye out for.
Nice.
Oh, I like that. Randers and I spoke during the week. Did we not, Randers? We talked. I ring him up. I don't mind using my download or whatever it is on your iPhone or whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'll use it on Randers. Mate, we talk. And we spoke about him during the week, and I said out of the whole class that came out last year, he was without doubt the freakiest tight end.
Yeah.
Like just some of the catches he made, some of the things he did as a tight end for someone his size. And I said to Randers, I said, man, the dude grabs the ball and the ball disappears. It's all hand.
Yeah.
Like, man, the dude puts white gloves on. It's white gloves and maybe a little bit of pigskin thrown in there.
Right.
Like this guy can just do some amazing things.
He can. All right. The guy I picked...
Okay, hurry up.
Yeah, let's move along. Right. Jesse James, I put in there. The now starting tight end at the Detroit Lions. No, don't give me that. Because, look, tight end, we've got to go 2 more levels down, G. So I've got guys that are pretty, not obscure, but, you know. Now, the Lions must have been stung by the success of Ebron last year. And you don't want to put a thorn in a lion, you know. They don't like that. James is entering his 5th year in the league. He's still young. He's going to start the season at age 25, and he's a massive unit. He's 6'7", 260 pounds. He had his best season as a Steeler last year, 30 receptions for 423 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that is with splitting time with Vance McDonald. But in Detroit, there's no competition at tight end at all. They got Luke Wilson and Michael Roberts, who, you know, that has not worked out. So he's going to be the guy. And, you know, we like Matt Stafford, and that's going to be a good offense. So, yeah, Jesse James.
Okay, look, I don't have much more. I got Gianno Smith at the Titans.
Okay.
For the simple fact that, mate, Delaney Walker comes back this year after missing the whole season with the injury. And, mate, Delaney Walker's what?
37, I think.
105? Seriously?
Tad less. But,
a tad less, but it's pretty much 105. And I was a fan of Gianno Smith coming out, so maybe I got a little bit of bias there.
No, he's good.
Mate, the dude's athletic.
Yeah.
The dude is big and athletic, and the dude can move.
He can.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about the quarterback play, especially when I pretty much said that starting quarterback is a bust.
Yeah.
But that's about, mate. That's all I have at tight end.
That's fine.
I got a real sleeper for you.
Ooh, I love a sleeper.
But you got to save that. You got to save that for the next.
No. You got a sleeper in stage 1.
What?
No, the room's still got talent, and Randers got his guy. He's talent.
Yeah, but
I'm out there.
Okay.
So this is a name you might remember from earlier in the season. That's Will Dissly from the Seattle Seahawks. He hurt his knee, and this is a guy who had a little chemistry with Russell Wilson. The first 2 games of the season, he had 5 targets, which, you know, is not a ton, but in the tight end landscape, it's not great. And Seattle they've got major needs on both offensive and defensive line. They could use a quarterback. They could use an outside linebacker. And they've only got 4 picks in the 2019 draft. Only 4. So I highly doubt, and they're pretty high picks. They're, you know, 3 in the top 125. So I highly doubt they're going to be able to afford to use one of those on the tight end position. And that's just going to give Mr. Dissly here another year with Russell Wilson to really be able to pop off.
Nice.
Pop off.
Yep.
I like pop off.
Don't give him any ideas. Hey, where are we going now?
Stage 2. Now, stage 2 of the night is, mate, you've had a couple. You got a bit of the Dutch courage going there.
Okay.
Right. So maybe, you know, the top tier of
the room's
talent,
cleared a little bit.
Yeah, it has a little bit. And so you've got to move to, like, you know, your second group. Like maybe the prime has moved on. And maybe talking to somebody else. Maybe someone has, you know, captured their attention. So we're going to drop down to the second page. But mate, you got a little bit of Dutch courage now. You've had a couple. So maybe it's now to go on time to actually make your move. Instead of just looking at it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now it's time to go and make your move.
Well, I noticed that we're still in the room. So, like, from the flip side, we're not prime either, are we?
I'm
You're just saying the prime has left the room.
I'm primed.
Oh, okay. Quarterback. Randy, have you got a quarterback for us?
Man, we're going deep.
I can give you one.
I've got one.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll do mine. Oh, you can have a think. I'm going to give you Taysom Hill.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
That's a very good one.
The Swiss Army knife, they call him. At 28, He's only been in the league for 2 years. In college, he suffered 4 season-ending injuries.
That's nothing to worry about.
But at BYU's Pro Day in 2017, he ran a 4.44 40, and he had a 38.5 inch.
4.4. Really?
Yeah, yes.
At his size.
Yes. He's huge, right?
That is
and
good.
He's got a good frame and a 38.5 inch vertical. Now, both of those would have been the best quarterback performances at the 2017 Combine, but he wasn't invited. He wasn't invited to the Combine.
Can he throw a ball?
He can throw a ball. He can play every position on the field. He's a Mormon. He actually served as a...
That's got nothing to do
Well, it's a bit of background. He served as a missionary, in Sydney. He served as a missionary in Sydney.
Oh, jeez. We're taking religion into it now.
No, I'm telling you why he's 28 years old. He was a missionary in Sydney.
Oh, okay. No.
After college.
Okay, I understand that fact.
Right.
Okay.
Educating those Australians.
Educating.
And then he signed with Green Bay. He didn't get drafted. He signed as an undrafted free agent rookie in 2017.
Don't come down here, Randers. We're not very educated.
Green Bay didn't keep him because they just wanted to keep Hundley and Rodgers on the roster. And now he's on the Saints. The Saints picked him up. And I think I saw something like last year he played it might have been 17% of the snaps.
Yeah, as a running back.
Yeah, he played in all sorts of situations. He can even punt the ball. But he's versatile and interesting.
Randers, please.
I'm going to throw Nick Mullins out there.
Thank you for changing the subject.
What's wrong with Taysom Hill? Come on.
It's just...
Nothing wrong with Taysom Hill.
He's not the guy.
He's a gadget. He's a gadget guy.
He is a gadget guy.
But he's a fun player to watch. I mean, not so much from a fantasy standpoint, but just from like when he's on the field, like when you see, I think he's number 7, but when either 7 or
he is.
But when he strolls out there, Mister, you got to pay attention. It's not like it's going to be like a halfback dive or something. It could be any number of things with that guy on the field, especially if him and Drew Brees are both on the field at the same time. So definitely an interesting guy. But I was going to pivot to Nick Mullen because this club is getting. It's getting dark. I'm 3 bottles of champagne in with G. I got the whiskey goggles on. But you know what? Shanahan out there in San Francisco made Nick Mullins look presentable. He averaged 284 yards passing a game. Not a ton of TD production, but we talked about Jimmy Garoppolo's health earlier. He's coming back from ACL in his own right. So keep an eye on old Nick Mullen. Not even pictured on MFL, by the way. You go look him up on MFL. No picture.
Oh, man. That's a bit disappointing, isn't it? Gee, who have you got?
But seriously, that is a really good pick by Randers there is for Memphis from Nick Mullins because I actually had him written down on somewhere.
But now you can't find it?
I'm just going through my original sheet that I wrote down when I went through the whole thing before I actually made it out properly.
Yeah.
And Nick Mullins was... I think he was in like stage 1, not stage 2.
Right, okay.
For the simple fact is we've seen what he can do. He can be a starting QB.
Yeah.
He's behind a quarterback at it's a great pick by Randers that can't stay healthy. And we just spoke about the reasons why he can't stay healthy for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Mate, it doesn't matter. But he never has.
No.
Wasn't it? He was given the opportunity at the Patriots.
Yep.
Couldn't do it.
Yep.
Given the opportunity at the 49ers. Couldn't do it. And Nick Mullins stood up. So that's a great pick. But I've got probably maybe I should put him at the stage 3 and we'll get to what the stage 3 is and pretty much turn the lights on and grab what you can. But I've got Mason Rudolph for the Steelers. Look, he's 3rd on the depth chart at the moment. He's behind Joshua Dobbs. Now, seriously? Like, what are you going to do? Like, if Roethlisberger goes down, mate, is your season... Like, have we still got a chance? Have we?
No.
The fact that we've lost Brown, we didn't have Le'Veon Bell last year.
No.
And I don't know why people keep talking about Le'Veon Bell because he wasn't there last year.
Jesse James?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are you going to go to Joshua Dobbs and go, oh my God, our seasons, we still got a chance? Or would you go to someone like Mason Rudolph, who I don't want to say he's Ben Roethlisberger sort of like, but from a point of view is he has an arm.
Yeah.
Yes, he has. Yeah, he
two
does have
arms?
two, but mate, unless he's ambidextrous, that'd be. I've never seen, unless we saw someone last year. No, the freak.
Mike Vick used to do that, didn't he?
Well, throw with his right arm.
Yeah, didn't he?
Did he?
I have a feeling he could.
Mate, the dude-
Like occasionally,
Mate, the
just
dude-
like flick one in
Mate,
there.
the dude was good.
I
was a big fan of Vic.
I could be banking that up.
The Falcons' home to come out at me. But are you going to give, if your season's shot, are you going to give someone you've already seen play, or are you going to give someone that you drafted in Mason Rudolph a crack? So I've got him down there at stage 2. And that's pretty much all I've got at stage 2.
No, not a problem. Let's go to running back.
Taysom Hill.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
No,
mine was
Yeah.
Taysom Hill.
yeah, mine was Nick Mullins.
Nick
Nick
Mullins.
Mullins, sorry.
Okay. Well, my running back you've mentioned already, so I'll be really brief on it. But I put Malcolm
I'm
Brown.
going to blame the 3 bottles.
Now, Malcolm Brown's been in the NFL for 5 years. He's going to turn 26 in May.
Great pick.
Undrafted free agent signing by the Rams. He's used pretty sparingly last year. His best game was a 13 carry, 65 yard. That's a 5 yard per carry average game. And he's going to go to the Lions, where he's going to sit, as you said, G, behind Kerryon, who's, injury prone on the depth chart, and he's probably going to play the blunt role. So I like that. I like that signing. Randers.
I'm going to go with Mike Davis, recent free agent signing by the Chicago Bears, running back from Seattle. This is a guy who had 514 yards rushing last year for Seattle, and that was being mixed in with Chris Carson and Rashad Penny. And that was it was on 112 carries, so right at about 5 yards a rush, which is pretty darn good. And he had 34 receptions, so he had a game with 7, and I believe a game with 8 receptions. So a very competent pass catcher. And from a fantasy standpoint, I think this guy is going to be just enough of a pain in the ass of both Tariq Cohen and Jordan Howard to really limit the overall upside of the entire backfield. I know there's rumors that the Bears were shopping Jordan Howard in the pre-combine days, and he could be shopped, during the draft at some point. But I always say this. So last year, Matt Nagy, the head coach of the Bears, he inherited Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen. This coaching staff went out and selected Mike Davis. So this is a guy that obviously the coaching staff likes, that they think they can create and carve out a role for. So Mike Davis is someone that I'm throwing lowball offers out in my dynasty leagues right now.
Nice.
Mate, he's the number one at the top of my running back list here. Randers, mate, it's the second time he's done it.
Nice.
I got to agree. Like, to me, he's a more powerful runner than Howard. And the fact, I don't think he fits Nagy's style of running back that he wants for the team.
Yep.
I think the fact that Howard is more of like, grab the ball, I'm going to thump it into you, bang it into you, bang it into you, bang it into you, and that's not what Nagy wants. He wants that, but he wants a sort of a shiftier style. He wants a quicker sort of offense.
Yep.
And I think Mike Davis fits that perfectly. So, mate, give it to Randers. That was my number one choice as well. Another one they got is Corey Grant, the Jags. Mate, this guy has a little bit of the something.
Yeah.
But hasn't been able to show it yet.
Okay.
Now, I'll run through a few guys quickly because I want to get back to a certain guy. I've got Jeremy Hill of the Patriots. He was in line for work in 2018 until he did the ACL injury. Mate, he looked not fantastic, but he looked really good in pre-season. Elijah Hood at the Panthers. He spent 2018 on IR. He's just signed a 1-year deal with them. I love that sort of prove it year. There's run CMC and nobody pretty much behind him. Michael Boone at the Vikings. He's second on the depth chart. And we also know about Dalvin Cook and his, trying to stay healthy history. And, mate, I've written down AJ's boy, Samaji Perine.
Oh, you're actually nominating him.
I did nominate him,
Wow.
yes. No?
No, not for me.
Not for you?
No.
Okay, I just put that on. AJ, I was letting you talk about him. No, we're going to. Okay. Now, a guy I really want to talk about. Sorry.
Samaje Perine's like in level 4.
Yeah.
I just want to put him on there for AJ.
He's the one that you wake up next to when you leave the club the next morning. You wake up next to and you leave him in your own house and just leave.
Oh my God. Stage 3's coming, Randers. Hold that thought. Now, the one guy I want to talk about is Dwayne Washington. Signed by the Saints. He was waived by the Lions. Mate, go and have a look. Mate, everybody, look, my mum's not going to look at him, and my dad and AJ's parents aren't probably going to look at him because they're the only people that listen to this podcast, but maybe having, Randers on might get a few more people. But go and have a look at him. Go and have a look at his week 17 game against the... Who'd the Saints play in week 17? I'm trying to think. Was it the Lions? They got smoked by the Lions in week 17 when no one played. Breeze didn't play. That's the week Teddy Bridgewater took over and looked absolutely terrible and did his stock no good. But he had a 100-yard game. Mate, this guy, even look at his college tape, mate, he's got speed, he's got contact balance. Go and have a look at him. He's someone just to sort of like stash away. Put him, if you've got like deep rosters on your dynasty, just go and put him down there and just see what happens. We've got Latavius Murray coming in. I think he is, as I said, contact balance is better than Latavius Murray. He's got more speed than Latavius Murray. So if something sort of happens there during the season, when we all know running backs is one of those sort of positions that you can have the guy who's number 3 or 4 on a depth chart, and all of a sudden he's a starter. Go and have a look. So, yeah, that's who I've got.
Very nice. Let's go to wide receiver. Okay, maybe I'll kick it off. I'll give Randy a bit of time to have a think. You're going to like this one, I think. I hope you're going to like this one. Here. Maybe. Tim Patrick. Denver wide receiver.
I don't mind that pick, but I don't have him. But that's good. I like it. No, I like it.
Now, he was an undrafted free agent rookie out of Utah for the Ravens in 2017. Cut prior to the season, claimed by the Niners, who also waived him, and the Broncos signed him to their practice squad. Last year he saw the field, had a strong last quarter. In actual fact, in the last quarter of the season, he had 23 catches out of 41 targets for 315 yards and a touchdown. Also added 17 yards on 3 carries. Getting playing time for Manny Sanders, who did his Achilles. Now, enter Joe Flacco.
Matty Sanders is someone we have not heard anything about.
No, that's very true. Enter Joe Flacco. Now, here's a likely formation. You tell me what you think of this, because listen, Tim Patrick's 6'5". Sutton and Patrick on the outside. Also consider that they're not getting much play out of tight end. And then obviously you got Deshaun Hamilton from the slot.
I like Deshaun.
There you go. What do you think of that? Is that a likely scenario?
I like it.
So
and Flacco is not averse to throwing the ball up.
No.
Deep.
No, correct.
I don't know if that's because he trusts his wide receivers or the fact that he's hoping for getting a penalty.
PI.
Yes.
Yeah, potentially. Randy, what do you think of that?
Always trust Joe Flacco. When in doubt, Flacco will air it out.
That's right. Okay, who you got? Who you want to add in?
I got Trey Quinn of the Washington Redskins. Slot wide receiver out of SMU, and I guess he spent a little time at LSU as well. Was a rookie last year. Jamison Crowder has left in free agency. He's went to the New York Jets. And we saw a little bit of flash out of Trey Quinn working the slot in a couple of games toward the back end of the season because Jamison Crowder was hurt. Surprise. And let's be honest, a slot wide receiver works real close to the line of scrimmage, which works right for Case Keenum. That's right in his wheelhouse, real close to the line of scrimmage. So could be a check option, really kind of like a bailout guy because Chris Thompson can't stay healthy. So if someone's got to catch the ball within 4 yards of the line of scrimmage, a.k.a. the Case Keenum zone, I'm going to give old Trey Quinn a look.
Nice. G.
I'm just going through my list. I know I've missed somebody. I just know I have.
Who? You don't know who?
Chris Conley.
Oh, Chris Conley. I was so disappointed the Chiefs decided not to re-sign Chris Conley, especially in light of the Tyreek Hill news.
Wow.
That didn't make sense to me.
It surprised me.
Yeah, Surprised
Hence
me.
why Demarcus Robinson was my stage one.
Yes. So Conley's gone Jacksonville or something. No.
Yes.
Is it
yes,
Jacksonville?
Yes. I'm looking on my list here on all my wide receivers. I'm looking in stage 2.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's not in stage 1 on my wide receivers. And he's not.
Huh.
And yet I have him down here on my rough list.
Okay. Oh, well.
But
Put him there now.
He's on my list.
Okay.
I had him up. I'll put him on the stage 2.
Jacksonville's disappointing.
It is disappointing because it is quite crowded.
Yeah.
But I was a big fan of him coming out. I think he has the pace. I think he has the hands.
Yes.
I think he can be a red zone threat as well.
Yep.
I think the injuries have really curtailed him at... Do you like that word? That's
Curtailed.
not bad after 3 bottles of champagne. I come up with a word like that.
You even said it correctly.
Randers? How do you think I went with that?
I think you used, not only did you use a nice word like curtailed, but you used it properly in a sentence after 3
Yes.
That's a W in its own right.
Put a whole sentence together. I think he just wasn't used. They brought in Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill and whatnot. So I'm going to put him at the top of my list. I'll go through the list here and you guys talk about and knock down any. I've got Des Bryant at the Saints. I don't know if Des Bryant really wants to be washed out yet.
The Saints don't have his rights still, do they? Or do they?
I believe they do.
Really?
Yes,
Huh.
he's still on there.
Okay.
I got Keith Kirkwood, who the
Yeah, I like
Saints
that.
are quite high on.
I like that. Yeah.
Showed a bit last year, and mate, let's face it. Outside of Thomas, really, who do they have? I've got Tajay Sharp here. He should probably be in like zone 3.
Tajay Sharp.
He should be turning the lights on.
He should be.
I got Kelvin Benjamin, who's been signed by the Chiefs. Mate, bit of a smoky.
Kelvin.
I don't. Look, what does Patrick Mahomes do best? He gives you time. Why does he give you time? Because he improvises. He gets out of the pocket. He can make Kelvin Benjamin isn't the quickest guy in the world,
No.
but he can go up and get the ball.
Sure.
Mate, give him a little bit more time. Give him another 10, 15 seconds to get that extra 5 yards. He can get that extra 5.
He takes 15 seconds to travel 5 yards.
He can get you that time. I'm not writing him off yet. At the Chiefs, anybody with the freak, I'm giving him some time.
Okay.
Corey Coleman at the Giants.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Mate, someone
getting bad.
Someone has to catch the ball. AJ, please bear with me. Cameron Meredith, who I'm a bit of a fan of, and I apologise to Memphis because I actually said to Memphis last year, I said, mate, just trust me on this one.
Yep.
Cameron Meredith, once he gets healthy,
Didn't quite happen.
there's a lot of people I have to apologise to for that, but I'm still hanging in there. And the last one I have on there is Jake Kumaro at the Packers. And this is one for you.
I like
AJ.
Kumaro. Yeah.
I've written down there. What I've written down there. One for AJ. And
like
one
him.
for Jay as well, who listens to the pod. Another one that was where the ball was meant to be and that Aaron Rodgers could trust. And Aaron Rodgers needs that trust in his wide receivers.
Yep. All right. Let's go to tight end.
Randers, give me something.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the recent signing of Tyler Croft in Buffalo. Charles Clay is now in Arizona, or the corpse of Charles Clay is in Arizona. That guy should have been out of the league 3 years ago. But you didn't see a lot out of Croft last year because he got hurt early in the season. He didn't play much. But if you go back to 2017 when he filled in for another guy who's always hurt, Tyler Eifert in Cincinnati, he had 42 catches for 400 yards and 7 TDs.
Yeah.
So this guy has shown some ability, kind of out of sight, out of mind, but the kind of guy that is definitely worth keeping an eye on. So I had Tyler Croft in this range.
Alrighty. I'm going with... I wonder if you'll have... I don't think we've ever spoken about this guy, G. Bit of a secret.
I've got 5 on the list.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Bit of a secret.
Okay.
Shh. Don't tell anybody. Troy Fumagalli.
I don't have him on the list.
He's a Bronco, big favorite of mine. I think unless Denver goes considerably high tight end in this draft class. I think Troy Fumagalli can push Jake Butt. As weird as the sentence of that is, he could really push Jake Butt.
Don't. He'll get the giggles. We'll be in trouble. Fumagalli was drafted in the fifth round.
Before you go up, mate.
2018. Yeah.
When Randers gets on and Memphis gets on and talks about a guy, I have a lot of respect for what he has to say.
Yeah.
And I don't have him on my list, I get worried.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, Fumagalli spent the entire year on IR while the Broncos struggled to get any production out of tight end with Jeff Hyman.
Because I do have Jake Butt.
Oh, you do have Jake Butt. But Jake Butt, I wrote here, he can't stay healthy. This is the problem. And meanwhile, Fumagalli's spending a year in the weight room. What? AJ favourite and not but I'm starting to sour on him. I'm getting on the Fumagalli bandwagon because Fumagalli's had a year.
Commercial road's not your thing anymore.
He's added 10 pounds in the weight room. He's fully healthy. He's ready to go. And Joe Flacco loves his tight end.
Mate, seriously, I don't give a flying what you put on in the weight room.
I'm just saying. Now, Dennis Pitter's best season in Baltimore with Flacco...
Unless you're a blocking tight end, I don't care.
Was 86 catches for 729 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not saying that Fumagalli's going to do that, but I'm just saying this guy's an unknown quantity. So...
Who are you talking about?
Fumagalli.
No, before that?
Dennis Pitter.
Okay.
The one hip hitter, Dennis Pitter? Yeah.
And Fumagalli's playing where?
Tight end.
At where?
Denver. Under Joe Flacco.
Oh.
Now the penny dropped.
Are they going to have like barbecues together?
Well, maybe.
Are the wife's going to be...
They might have already started.
Has Fumagalli got a wife, a girlfriend?
Maybe.
Mate, we know what the tie-in... We spoke about this for years and years, did we not?
Yes.
The tie-in between those two with the wives were good friends.
Oh, yeah.
They had barbecues together.
They did.
No?
They did. Who you got, Randers, at tight end?
He already spoke about his tight end.
Yeah.
You did?
I'm
Okay,
ready for level 3.
Mate, I'm the one who's been drinking and I know that. Okay, I'll give you a couple. I've got Blake Jarwin and Rico gathered at the Cowboys because Witten is goddamn seriously too old. I had Jake Butt, but we've obviously totally dismissed Jake Butt now at the Broncos.
I'm dismissing him a little bit, I reckon.
Yeah, big fan. I put AJ as a big fan.
Oh, yeah, sort of.
Okay.
Lukewarm fan.
What about Austin Safarian-Jenkins at the Jags? They possibly would draft a tight end, but we know how long, tight ends just pop up in the scene and contribute straight away. Still there? No?
We talk about ASJ
He may be a free agent.
every off-season.
We do.
Oh, ASJ.
Well, I'm talking. Yeah, okay. Just added to 2019.
He's flashed for sure.
He has. That's true.
And my boy,
Who's that?
CJ Uzumah at the Bengals.
Okay.
Still there.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Mate, they re-signed the invincible,
Tyler Eifert.
indestructible Tyler Eifert. Mate, if that's the only guy standing in his way of getting touches of the football, I'm pretty happy about my Uzumah. Mate, this dude's got, this guy's, he's got a little bit about him.
Yeah.
Give him some time. Give him some time. Trust me.
Tyler
Trust
Eifert's
me.
not exactly one of the Avengers.
No, he's a Avenger that doesn't show up for 4 movies.
That's right. Because he's injured.
Yes. Okay, and my last guy is someone that I know Randers is a big fan of someone at if I was going to put in a homer pick, and this is a bit of a homer pick, but it's not.
Okay.
But he is the Robin at the moment to the Batman at the Falcons at the tight end position, and that is is it Eric? I'm gonna screw his last name up, and that is Eric Sorbert.
I think that's right.
I just want to call him Sorbet.
Sorbet.
Sounds better.
Sorbet.
I know it's not, but it sounds better. At the Falcons. Now, mate, this guy, he plays and he moves like a wideout.
Okay.
And mate, he got an excellent set of hands. Like last year was his rookie season. I think you might see a little bit more of him coming this season. And that might really hurt Randers' feelings because I know Randers is a big fan of Randers.
No, nothing, man. I'm a big Austin Hooper guy.
I know you are.
Some guys are Batman and some guys are Robin.
Well, that's true.
Mr. Sorbet. Hopefully, it's like a nice raspberry sorbet. He may even be Alfred the Butler.
But Randy, I don't know if you're a comic book guy, but Robin became Nightwing.
I have no idea.
And he wasn't Robin anymore.
Yeah, but that was like the Dick Grayson.
Yes,
Robin. So,
correct.
Yeah, there were some twists and turns. I'll give you that.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's go to stage 3. Okay,
Stage
you better
3,
launch.
the final stage. These are the guys, mate. We are really, like scraping the bottom of the barrel here. And stage 3 of the night is the fact that, mate, you're pretty much. You've had a few. You're pretty much pissed.
It's toasted.
You are. You have got, mate. You have got the beer goggles on. Hey, last call went out 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
Minimum 10 minutes ago. Well,
right.
10 minutes when you've had a gutful and you got the goggles on.
Yeah.
10 minutes could have been
half an hour.
Or at least half an hour ago. And the lights are starting, the lights are going to come on. You have to grab something before the lights come on because God knows you don't want to be grabbing something when the lights come on.
Right.
And that's where we are at stage 3.
Okay, stage 3. Stage 3, quarterback. And you've mentioned mine already, but I put stage 3 Nate Sudfeld.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought, well, okay, he's backing up Carson Wentz. There's a good chance he's going to get on the field. He's in the Nick Foles role, we can say that. Maybe he's going to go on and be MVP in the Super Bowl. Who knows? In 3 preseason games last year, Sudfeld completed 58% of his passes for 524 yards and 5 TDs,
Well,
3 interceptions for an 85.6 passer rating. Well, it's stage 3. What do you expect me to say?
This is true.
But anyway, that was my guy. Randers.
Taylor, I hope I pronounced his last name correctly. Heineke? Not Heineken. That's a good beer. This is the guy who came in last year in relief of Cam Newton after his shoulder finally gave out. So didn't look great, didn't look good. He looked marginal, but I mean, at this point in the night, you got to grab something. So I grabbed Taylor Heineke.
Okay, stage 3. I've got a few. I've got Mike White, the Cowboys. At the moment, he's third on the depth chart behind Cooper Rush, and honestly, I think he's a far better quarterback than Cooper Rush. Cardell Jones at the Chargers. Mate, if old man Rivers gets hurt, and we've seen what Tyrod Taylor does, and Tyrod Taylor, mate, my God, you actually have to pass the goddamn ball to make a completion, correct?
Yes.
Is there a reason? There's a reason why he's no longer the quarterback at the Cleveland Browns. Is because you actually the ball has to actually leave your hand.
What are you saying? He holds the ball too long,
mate. Mate, just go back and look at all the games prior to the fact when they put in Baker Mayfield, and all of a sudden Tyrod Taylor goes out with that. Oh my God, I go in the blue tent. I can't play for the rest of the season.
He tries to play too careful, doesn't he?
I possibly
a bit. Yeah.
But I think he had the same problem with at Buffalo. Is it the fact that he sort of the Buffalo fans and it's just like, mate, release the ball.
Yeah.
Like you're a quarterback. The whole point of your position is to not just hand the ball off and run it yourself. Is to actually throw the ball downfield every now and then.
Yes.
And the third one I have is a favourite of yours.
Really?
Ex-Green Bay backup.
Brett Hundley
at the Cards.
Favour mine. He had pretty mediocre filling in for...
Granted, I'll give you that. But the fact is that at the Cards, Rosen is there at the moment. Is Rosen going to be the quarterback next year? And is the quarterback that they're bringing maybe, which we can talk about if you want to quickly go down that rabbit hole.
No.
You don't want to go down there?
Well, not now, but yeah.
Is he going to be, once he's put in the spotlight,
big question.
Is he going to be the quarterback that we want?
True. Okay.
And is he big enough to cop the pounding of NFL. I watched a fair bit of, I watched 20 plus quarterbacks coming out this year, and I must admit that when he gets hit, he's not the quickest guy to get back up.
Right, okay.
Randers, what do you think?
I got nothing. I got nothing.
You got nothing.
This
All
is
right. I don't even. What do we even have him on, AJ?
We're pretty low. We're pretty deep
what
here.
do we have him on? I'll give him some free accommodation when he comes out to Australia, but if he's not going to give us anything, what do we have him on?
We're scraping.
We are.
The
This
barrel,
is stage 3. This is lights coming on.
It is.
Grab what you can and make the best of it.
Exactly. Running back. All right, I'll throw mine in first. Bo Scarborough.
Oh, I've got him on the list.
Hey, we've got some synergy. Bo Scarborough. There's Seattle.
I've got a big list.
The Seattle depth chart is ugly. But there's a lot of running backs there that don't fill you with confidence. So Chris Carson, I like him, but Rashad Penny, J.D. McKissick, C.J. Procise, and then Bo Scarborough.
Okay, the first 3 guys that you mentioned,
Yep.
that's 3 guys. I reckon you get a combined total of 5 games.
Maybe. Now, just to throw in there, he was a 2-time national champ at Alabama, rushing for 1,512 yards and 20 touchdowns on 267 carries through 3 seasons. He's also named the MVP of the Peach Bowl. We know how awesome that is.
Right alongside the Orange Bowl, mate. And you're in the same vineyard.
That was that's right. When he
Orchard. I was going to say vineyard.
Orchard.
Vineyard's wine.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Orchard.
When he rushed for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Give the guy, mate. Seriously,
I'm just saying.
Give the guy an effing go.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's got some pedigree. He can run. Yeah. So anyway, Bo Scarborough, Randers. Do you have anyone you want to throw in?
Mine's a blast. I mean, you want to go deep?
Yeah.
Carlos Williams. He was in the league in 2015 as a rookie out of Florida State. Had some early success.
Hold on. 2015, we're in 2016, 2017.
But he's not even 26 years old. Just got reinstated from a suspension within the NFL. From what I've read, he'll probably wind up being in the AAF, but so are most of these guys we're talking about right now. So Carlos Williams, I just random threw it out there. Yeah. I found it an interesting story the other day. So and the fact that he's only not even 26, he'll be 26 in May. You never know. Desperate teams in the NFL do weird stuff.
Randy, wasn't it Carlos Williams that put on the ton of weight because his girlfriend was pregnant?
Yeah, he was going out in sympathy for
That's exactly right. He went full Kelvin. He went full Kelvin and Benjamin. And I don't want to besmirch this man's good name. He might have his law firm of Hagen and Dawes reach out to me and apply a lawsuit. So no, that's why I'm picking Carlos Williams. I'm a big fan.
That's good.
Gee.
Oh my God, that's good. I can't follow that up. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it. Okay, Jonathan Williams, the Colts. Thomas Rawls, the Jags, because mate,
Rawls fell off the face of the planet.
Mate, this is the lights are coming on. Just grab what you can grab. Thomas Rawls, the Jags, because the fact that Leonard Fournette might actually enjoy sitting on the goddamn bench, and he might actually go and find a whoopee cushion or a cushion or a donut or whatever you sit on that makes it more comfortable, and he might actually enjoy spending more time on the bench because he spent a hell of a lot of time. Whether or not he's got a bit of an injury and I can't play, or for whatever goddamn reason, Coughlin just is pissed with him for some reason, looking at the clouds or whatever he's doing, God knows what.
Hey, listen, I'm sure, Randy, you can clarify this. Wasn't there a fantasy off season? It wasn't in another dimension where Thomas Rawls was actually like a 2nd or 3rd round startup pick.
That is correct, and that was right after Marshawn Lynch quasi-retired, and he had that bit of breakout the back when I believe Marshawn Lynch got hurt, and then Thomas Rawls had a really good run there. I think it was in 2016, something like that.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Marshawn Lynch retired after that season. or whatever he did. And then Thomas Rawls was supposed to be the man there, and people were losing their gourd. It's very reminiscent of what's going on right now with Damian Williams and
Right.
Kareem Hunt leaving Kansas City. Kareem Hunt leaves. Damian Williams, he wasn't the prettiest girl around, but he was the only girl in the building. So Kansas City said, "Hey, you can run the football for us." And you know what? And he won that offense will look good. But this was a guy who's 26 years old, had been a replacement level player in Miami, and now the dynasty world's losing their marbles. And that was the original tale of Thomas Rawls several years ago.
Yes. Go, G. Sorry, I
Is that
interrupted
okay?
you.
No, mate's great. Is it, can I have him on the list?
Yeah, sure.
So grab a whatever.
At this
For the lights
stage,
come on.
you sure can.
Okay, I've got Brian Hill at the Falcons.
Oh, I like that.
Brought him back. Mate, a soul of the earth. Mate, not great at anything, just good at everything.
Not great at anything.
But there's those people that are just not great at one thing. What's that saying about
Jack of all trades.
what is it? Good.
Master of none. No.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah, along those lines. You know what I'm talking about. I got Raheem Mossart, who is Mossart?
I think
Mossart?
so. Yeah, your
At
guess.
the 49ers. Mate, look, he showed last year he's got quicks, he's got power. The only problem is he's got a massive guys in front of him now. Whether or not, I don't know if he'll still be on the roster come the start of the season. We'll wait and see. I had Bo Scarborough, like you had down, who I was a bit of a fan of coming out.
Yes.
Just, mate, God, please, just
He's still talented,
mate,
G.
just give the guy a go.
Yeah.
He's going to go anywhere he hasn't been too many places.
No.
But just give the ball. Just give the ball. Give him the ball. Give the guy some carries.
Yep.
I have Jalen Richards at the Raiders, who's pretty much just like,
It's pretty deep for him because he's going to have a good season.
mate. He was like the dump off
King,
wasn't he last season? Capri Bibbs, bit of a sneaky sign at the Green Bay Packers.
He had some okay weeks.
And I put him in there because my wife owned a Ford Capri. So I put him in there.
Good reason.
Hey, mate, why not? I got Ryan the Wrecking Nile, who was a bit of a fan, just a punisher.
Ryan Knoll, yeah.
Just ram it in there. Oh, my God. I got Amir Abdullah.
Oh,
The
poor
fear Amir.
I had him on the list earlier, like in the stage.
Thanks. And number 2, Randers. I love you.
No one fears Amir anymore.
They don't fear Amir, do they?
No.
But the Vikings have kept him, special teams probably. TJ Logan at the Cardinals, coming into his second year. Keep an eye on him. And then I've got a group of guys, Boston Scott, Donnell Pumphrey, and Wendell Smallwood at the Eagles.
Yep.
But the problem with a lot of these guys is you'll find that the influx of running backs and the position that they play is just so like in, out, discarded, no good, get rid of them, move on. It's a bit like technology. Like as soon as you buy something, it's outdated.
Yep.
And that's a running back position, is it not? Unless you are
Churning.
like the top. I'm not gonna say 1% because 1% is too small, but say the top 10%. Are you really going to get that second contract? That real second contract. That running back position is really hard for that. So these guys are just really disposable, and that's the position. And the last guy I have on the list before we go out at the running back position is a guy that we spoke about last year. He was my favourite guy watching. He was the most, like when we spoke about, I think maybe with Matt Waldman, I can't remember, electrifying guys to watch, and that is Martez Carter out of Grambling, signed by the Saints. The guy was just like something to watch at college, just in and out, bang, bang, bang. Loved the way he moved.
True.
And the only reason I put him in there is because he's still in the NFL.
Yeah. All right, let's go to wide receiver. And I'll serve one up first. I wonder if you've got him, G. Dylan Cantrell,
No, I do not.
Chargers wide receiver.
I'm a fan.
Tyrell Williams is gone. And yes, I know Hunter Henry is back. But you got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams at 1 and 2. And following them on the depth chart is Travis Benjamin. Now, Dylan Cantrell's got a chance here.
Mike Williams, this is his year.
What's that, Wawa?
Mike Williams, just saying, this is his year.
This is his year? Yep. Dylan Cantrell, 6'3". and he played out of the slot in college, and he was drafted in the 6th round by the Chargers last year. They put him on their practice squad, and they activated him in December. So he's got an opportunity in a depth chart that's, got a little bit of room.
6'3" in the slot.
Yeah, he played out of the slot. So there you go. Randy.
I'm going off the trash heap again, and I am going Kevin White, former first round with the Bears, just recently signed a 1-year deal in Arizona.
Lord. It's
hey, you know what?
Love it.
If you can't learn from Larry Fitzgerald on a team that's dying for an outside wide receiver presence in Arizona with Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald basically as really good slot receivers, I mean, this is make or break. You got one last shot, and if you can't resurrect your career with this opportunity, it's over.
Man, I could have sworn you said DK Metcalf there for a second.
Oh, see, I'm not trying to set the internet on fire. I'm not we'll talk about DK when we talk about rookies. I'll have you guys. You guys are going to come on the Dynasty Warzone here soon, and we'll talk about the rookies then. But man, that DK Metcalf take's going to get you in trouble.
Mate, if he can run in a straight line and that's who you want, he's your guy. If you want him to do anything else, mate, we'll get to that. But I don't have him at the top. I have some freaky dudes.
Yep.
Near the top of my list. And Randers knows because I've been sending a few to Randers every now and then. Have a look at this guy.
Yep.
No one's talking about him. Just remember who I've sent you, Randers.
Yep.
And no one's talking about him. I said what'll happen is that people will look at the top 15 or 20 guys, and that's who they'll scout.
Yes.
And then they'll say, hey, this guy's a great... And then they'll start, we got a bit of a lull. They'll go and look at the next 20 guys, maybe. And they're going to start to... Oh, look at this guy. So I've sent Randers a few, mate. Just keep an eye. Just remember where you heard it first. Is that not right?
100%. I've got names written down.
Beautiful. Thanks,
but I'm ready.
Very
Beautiful.
nice.
Okay, the wide receiver we have from G, we have, at the Steelers. We need someone to throw the ball to. We have Justin Hunter. Can I put him in there?
Oh, no. What?
Come on. Mate, these guys are probably obsolete by the time the draft comes through. Okay? So at the moment, these are at the moment. Justin Hunter at the Steelers. We have Richie James at the 49ers. That's not too bad.
It sounded like a pod from 2015 here. Carlos
Mate, the
Williams
receiving store in at the 49ers at the moment is quite low.
It is.
Dante Pettis, my boy.
Number one.
My boy's number one at the moment. Okay. I put Amari Dora at the Seahawks. Mate, and listen to the fact that, mate, Baldwin is going back to have more off-season surgery.
That's a worry, yep.
Okay? Not that I'm saying he's any good, but I'm looking at what's happening below him.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'd hate to correct you, but that surgeries, plural.
Surgeries.
He's already had like a shoulder to knee, and now he's going back for like a sports hernia. He may not be done. That's plural, multiple.
Mate, I did actually write. I did put the S at the end.
Yes, but you spelt it incorrectly.
I spelled it incorrectly.
But anyway,
hey, mate, I'm a tradie. I'm not a school teacher.
I can't turn it off.
Okay.
Anyway,
that's okay, mate. Don't mind you correcting me. That's good. I learn.
Right.
I have Justin Watson at the Bucks. Mate, they don't mind Justin Watson.
That. Yeah, okay.
Mate, I actually could have put him in my stage 2.
Yes, you could have.
But I put him in the stage 3 because I'm just not too sure. Yep. I actually spoke about him coming out last year. So I'm going to use him as like one of my guys. Can I do that? I don't think a lot of people were talking about Justin Watson last year.
Yeah, true.
But then again, the Bucks like him, and they said they liked him, but it's whether or not Bruce Arians likes him. Yes. So let's wait and see. We got Bashar Perryman also at the Bucks.
Yeah.
I'm hanging on to that bet that we have, AJ. I'm not losing that bet.
That's a shocker of a bet.
This bet could come true this year.
Devontae Parker versus Bashar Perryman.
That is, mate, they're about 50-50 at the moment.
I reckon they are too.
There's not much between.
It's a coin toss.
It is. What about this one? Blast from the past. We're talking about think about the music of the 80s, and everybody says how good the music from the 80s was.
Yep.
And I think the 80s was overrated, in my opinion. There's a lot of shit in there. There's a lot of shit in there.
There is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Floyd at the Redskins.
Is he still playing?
I believe he is. He's a product of the 80s. He's at the Redskins. JJ Nelson at the Raiders.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And Cedric Wilson at the Cowboys. But then again, now they've gone and signed Randall Cobb.
Yep.
Not that they play the same position.
No.
But it's just someone else. It's just another player, another receiver that can take touches away.
Yeah.
Just, and like I said, this is like, mate, this is like going to the pub, lights are on,
It's a shit show
goals.
at this point.
Mate, you just grab whatever you can.
All right.
Naked flesh is naked flesh at this stage.
Woohoo. Speaking of tight ends, so no tight ends to be found at this time of night.
This is when all the tight ends should come out. Based on what we saw last year.
No, they're all wide ends.
Mate, there should be a massive list of tight ends at stage 3.
Well, I guess they're all at stage 3. You've got the 3 guys right at the top tier: Kelsey, Kittle, Ertz.
And then they're all stage 3.
They're all stage 3. Right. So the guy I'm going to offer up is Seth the Valve.
Ooh, I didn't have him here. But
Oh, really?
That is good.
Cleveland tight end, picked by the Browns in the 4th round, 2016. He actually played wide receiver in college. I don't know if you know that. He's behind David Njoku on the depth chart.
Mate, can I just say, before you go any further,
Yeah.
is there a tight end
Yeah.
playing in the NFL that was actually a tight end at any stage
Or didn't play basketball.
Before his senior year or his redshirt junior year, didn't do another sport, like didn't play another position. Basketball, wide receiver, God knows what.
It's because no one bloody wants to play tight end.
Lacrosse, I don't know. I have no idea.
Let's face it, it's a brutal position.
Randers, am I speaking the gospel?
Yeah, you forgot volleyball.
Boom.
Played some college volleyball, I believe, as well. So, I think tight end is not something anyone aspires to be. I think tight end means someone's handed. It's like, look, bro, you can catch the football a little bit. You're a big fella. Tight end, welcome to the team.
Yeah. Now, an injury to Njoku would make Seth the Valve an instant tight end too, maybe even better in that offense.
He won't be there.
What do you mean?
I don't know if he'd be there. I don't know if he'd be there by the time the season starts. I don't know if he'd be
He may not be.
on the Browns.
But the thing that'll seal the deal on this is his nickname. I don't know how he's heard this, but
What's his nickname?
Mini Gronk is his nickname, apparently. Maybe he gave it to himself.
I'm pretty sure he's not the only one being called like that.
No, I've heard that a few times.
Yep.
Randers, do you have any tight ends to throw in there?
I'll tell you a quick one because of his contract, his age, and he'll be a free agent after the season. Kyle Rudolph. So I'm going with his backup, Tyler Conklin, who is going into his second year as a pro out of Central Michigan. Didn't flash a ton as a rookie, but just a name to remember. I will say this, that I'm a big Kyle Rudolph fan. I think his best days for fantasy are behind us at this point, but still a guy that can contribute. He's a red zone option, and I think he's like a pillar of the community. And I read an article that says he will probably retire a Viking just because of the way he's immersed himself within that Minneapolis community. But this is his understudy, and in a year or two, this could be a guy who could have some value.
Bloody better, because I went and did a trade through him, asked for him as like a little bit of a cherry on top based on what you told me, Randers. So don't let me down, dude. Don't let me down.
I'm doing my level best.
I'll be finding out where you live.
Now, did you have any other tight ends to throw in there,
Yeah,
G?
I haven't got much. I got Jordan Aiken at the Texans, but I've got the two Jordans.
Jordans.
Yeah, at the Texans, and one Jordan's way better than the other Jordan. Mate, what about Mo Alley Cox?
That's not a bad one. That's not bad.
Randers, you could probably talk. I put him on here, but you could probably talk about him a lot better than I could.
He is a ginormous man, former basketball player.
Here we go.
Fancy that.
Do we put basketball in there?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a former. He's like 6'9", he's basically like a ginormous left tackle. But I don't hate Mo Alley Cox.
Oh, thank you. I'll put him in there, and I've got Dion Yelder at the Chiefs. He was the biggest. He got the most money in from all the. I'm trying to think of the contract that the guys sign in, like the practice squad guys. He was on the practice squad for for the Saints last year. I think he got about 90 grand, which was a pretty big contract. Now he's been released, and the Chiefs has gone and picked him up.
Okay.
So I don't mind him as a tight end. Still young, as they all are. I think it's his second year. So Dion Yelder at the Chiefs this year.
Okay. Well, we're done.
Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, thank Christ. Oh.
We're pushing 2 hours here on this pod, though. But anyway.
AJ will cut it down.
I'll cut it down. Randy, we've kept you for a long, long time. I appreciate you
We'll cut out all the
us.
stuff that Randy spoke about.
No,
just delete me. Alt-delete Memphis.
I will not do that.
Thank you, guys. It's always great to catch up with you. You guys are two of my absolute favorites to speak with. You guys are real gentlemen, and even when G is 3 champagne bottles.
Thanks,
the new champagne poppy.
Yeah, look, and of course, you can catch Randy on the Dynasty Warzone pod, which is really awesome. And I haven't listened to the latest
DFF
one.
Melbourne. He's changed it from Memphis to Melbourne.
It's my alter ego, DFF Melbourne. Yeah, this past week we had on JP Hurley of the Dynasty Trade Calculator, but we've been on a big run. We've been covering rookies. Yeah. JP was a great guest because we were comparing rookies versus some of the recent free agent landing spots, and kind of a would you rather have this guy in a new free agent role or this incoming rookie type thing. But over the last few weeks, and I know G's been a big fan. We've had Nick Whalen, we've had Travis May, we've had Matt Waldman, Tim Torch, Shane Hallam. So we've had a lot of guys on talking rookies, and that's going to be our focus with the NFL draft 5 weeks from this weekend. So that's what we're talking about, and then we'll get into some more shenanigans. We'll have you guys on. You guys are always prime guests for our shows that talk about things besides football. In the summer, Dynasty can get a little boring. Not a lot going on between the drafting camp. So as we're doing our divisional previews, like last year we came on, and I believe we spoke fashion and music. And we'll do something like that again with you guys.
Sounds good.
We can talk about native dangerous animals this year.
Native dangerous animals. Listen, Randy, it's been an absolute pleasure. We better let you go and enjoy your Friday. Our Friday is over. We're in Saturday now.
Mate, we're 21 minutes into bloody Saturday. We are.
Yeah, that's what you call the next day after Friday. But anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just going to push this away.
It's a 2 champagne question, that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go.
Randy, thank you so much. Follow him at DFF Memphis, and definitely check out the Dynasty Warzone. It's a fantastic listen. Great guests lately, as you said, Randy, and it's a pleasure as always.
Thank you, gents.
Thank you. And G, you can turn the mic on again.
I've let you down.
So you haven't let me down. Now, on behalf of I'm so hard to finish now. You have to get back on. Right.
Just finish it up.
All right, I'll finish it up.
I've let you down.
You haven't let me down. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a long one, and
it has. We apologise for that. And look, coming up, we're going to start doing
rookies,
our rookie positional preview. So we got quarterbacks.
Yes,
we got mate, and I've looked at 20 plus quarterbacks. God knows why I looked at 20 plus quarterbacks. I have absolutely no idea. I've looked at 41 wide receivers.
Oh, wow.
And look, as a wide receiver, top of the chart, great. Well, no, but there's a lot of depth, and some of the guys that I might have on there won't be the same as everybody else, but that's fine. We'll have our own opinion on what we look at.
Yep.
I've started looking at the running backs, and then we'll get on the tight ends. But over the next 4 weeks or so, we're going to start churning out all of those.
Sounds brilliant. Well, listen, guys. Let's wrap it up. On behalf of all of us, thanks for listening. Really appreciate it.
G, Memphis,
NAJ. Thanks, everybody. Catch you next time.